Welcome back. So I'm still in the national bestseller Salvation, Black People in Love by the author Bell Hooks. We're in chapter 7, Cherishing Single Mothers. And I'm finding it increasingly difficult to pick out the segments because her work is so rich. I am leaving out parts to entice you to get a copy either by borrowing it from the library or buying it. So I'll jump back in. Throughout the United States, there are more single-parent households than ever before in the nation's history. Yet Black women remain the one group of single parents who are consistently attacked, assailed on all sides by a white supremacist culture that stereotypes Black females as, quote, welfare queens, end quote, by Black men. Yes, she said Black men who claim they are the victims of these castrating breeders who would rather live off welfare than have a good man support them, and by the shaming judgment of a nation that castigates unmarried poor women who birth children while idealizing unmarried rich and famous women who choose to parent. Single Black mothers are increasingly represented in the mass media as harsh, uncaring parents. A large group of Black single mothers parent alone because they're divorced. 50% of the population in the US that are married have been divorced, and the lowest divorce rates are among Black people. They're working mothers. Like their non-Black counterparts who receive state aid, most of them would relish being economically supported by a caring male provider. It's a myth that Black women prefer to raise children alone. Even most single professional women living alone who choose to adopt a child would prefer sharing parenting with a caring partner. Parenting alone is difficult work. No one knows this better than Black women, and it's even more difficult when women are poor. Barbara Omolade's The Rising Song of African American Women includes one of the most insightful discussions about Black single mothers ever written in a chapter titled It's a Family Affair. Throughout this essay, she draws together facts and figures to counter negative stereotypes about Black single mothers. Omolade writes, most Black single mothers are the working poor. We do domestic work, sew in factories, and are self-employed as merchants and caterers. We commute daily to city, state, and federal government agencies. As paralegals, aides, and clerks, we are the backbone of the hospital, childcare, and nursing home systems. Although the wages are low, because of a capitalist system and a government refusing to mandate a living wage. I said that, not her. And the work tedious. Black women stay with city jobs for years because they offer stability and benefits. More often than not, when the topic is Black single mothers, the image evoked is one of Black women on welfare. Working Black single mothers tend to be ignored in this society unless they can be evoked as a means of pathologizing Black family life. For a long time, working Black single mothers were simply ignored. When the white supremacist patriarchal mass media wanted to paint a portrait of pathology, it highlighted Black women receiving welfare. Usually, the spotlight would focus on an individual Black woman with 4 or more children by different men who was lying to the system to receive more aid. It has never mattered to the listening public that this image is not representative. It means this image is not frequently occurring. This image is rare. They're looking for the worst example to bring out. However, in recent years, as more concrete statistics about who actually receives aid and how much money recipients are actually given are made public, anyone who is not blinded by bias has to face the extent to which negative images of black women on welfare are flaunted as a way to scapegoat them and leave unquestioned issues of class, race, and imperialism when it comes to the allocation of funding. So as a person who has given out these benefits and checked people's eligibility for it, I can tell you black people are not the highest recipients. That's white people who are the majority in this country. Also, the welfare benefits, food stamps is $300 for the month. Hardly can afford food on that in America. Moving along, I want to place a spotlight on black single mothers to talk about the concrete practice of a love ethic in black life, because there's so much evidence to document that this group, more than any other, against the odds, has created a space of love within the home. It reflects the extreme nature of our collective crisis that more than ever before in the nation's history, Black people participate in the overall assault on the integrity of black single mothers. So they're not being only assailed on the outside, but within our group. In the popular mass media, black single mothers are represented as castrating bees who want to irresponsibly breed children they cannot support. Little distinction is made between working single mothers and women on welfare. They are both unjustly represented as criminals, and the children they parent are represented as would-be criminals. Were there any books written documenting contemporary representation of single mothers in our society, the gap between how white women have been represented, a recent portrayal in that of the hardworking single mom in the film As Good as It Gets, and the representation of black women would be clear. White single mothers tend to be represented positively. They are depicted as hardworking victims of circumstances not of their choosing, or professional women who at heart are loving Madonna figures. Black single mothers are more often than not depicted as neglectful, violent, mentally depraved substance abusers. Currently, the focus on family values, along with efforts to dismantle welfare, has led to violent condemnation of black single mothers on all fronts. Under the guise of family values, black males have added their voices to the critique of black single mothers. Underlying the attack on black single mothers is the assumption that patriarchal families are the healthiest. Of course, most of the recent work on nuclear families highlight that these families are more often than not dysfunctional. Feminist scholarship on family life calls attention to the extent to which coercive male domination erodes family values. Widespread domestic violence and male-perpetrated incest are two indications that the patriarchal nuclear family is not inherently a more positive location to raise children than a single-parent household. So those are the facts. Without the hate. So tell me what you think, and thanks for listening.